The demo you could put sticky either on this wall, on the wall to the right, or the wall behind you, or you could just put it on the floor, whichever one's more comfortable for you. Generally speaking, I just do this, and then I just jump over. I do one jump onto the pack, get the pack. Finally, last jump into the this area here, and then you're on mid. You got 3 main ways to get to mid. The one over there is frog. You don't usually take that to mid. This one is the most common one. This is cheese. And then finally you have choke. The default is to have pretty much everybody, apart from maybe your flank, go choke. Or I'm sorry. Everybody but your flank goes cheese. Your flank can go choke. And then you guys meet up on mid. Go right over here. Generally speaking, this map, and this mid specifically, is played in a very... What's a good comparison to this mid? Probably very close to Metalworks. The idea is for your soldiers and your scouts to take height control and take early point presence, and then push the enemy team into a corner, whether it be this corner over here, whether it be this corner down here, or just push them straight out of choke. But the idea is to take control of this. So as your team, you take control of this side, and then your flank takes control of this side, and you basically push them into one of these two corners and collapse on them. You initiate that with soldier bombs, generally speaking. You either have your pocket or your roamer or both. High bomb either off one of these towers or one of these walls right here. Or if your flank soldier is playing over here, like far left, you could bomb off one of these walls over here, or maybe even jump off the ramp. And the idea is to land high and land behind, or land behind. So landing up here is pretty nice because you can rain hell on them. Landing up here or up here is good because you also land, rain hell on them. The good thing about a position like this is that you have to make these people turn like to you, which means they're turning away from your team, which is really nice. You can also land and choke. Same thing. You're going to have a couple people, probably a scout, maybe a soldier looking at you. Or you can land in cheese like this and then kind of destroy them this way. They have to come and chase you. You have a pack if you need to get healthy. And it's generally just very effective to have your soldiers just be aggressive on this mid. Same thing with Metalworks, right? You don't really want your soldiers kind of sitting back and just spamming the entire mid. You really want your soldiers to be active. Scouts are the... in a similar vein, scouts are the same thing. You want to have a scout, preferably a pocket scout, be on up here or maybe up here. This position is pretty passive. This position is a little bit more aggressive, and I like this position a little bit more actually on the tower as a pocket scout, because you can just see the area a little bit more, right? Like over here, if there's a soldier over here, you can see that guy, right? If there's a scout over here, you can see that guy. If you're over here, it's very easy for you to get blindly bombed into, right? And you're just not as prepared. So playing up here, I think, is a lot better. Your other scout can kind of do... He's kind of free to do... Not whatever, but like he has a lot of things he can do. You can play on the left-hand side either by yourself or with your roamer, and maybe do some aggression play here. Like you can pepper people from up here. If your soldier bombs high, you can kind of push into their team like this. You could also go underneath, and then maybe going up this ramp and fighting like the demo who's over here, or maybe wrapping all the way around if you're able to, and maybe fighting a soldier or maybe even a medic or something over here. Playing on the point with your other scout isn't a bad idea either. Getting early point presence and just this height control is really nice, just being aggressive. Or you could just sit on the tower, either on this side with your scout or up here, preferably on the other side. You wouldn't want to be on the same position as your pocket scout. Number one, because you want to cover a different ground. meaning like if a soldier bombs, you can get denied from 2 different areas, like up there and up there, up there and up there, something like that. And also you just don't take the same spam. So yeah, Pocket Scout you can kind of be a little bit more free. Same with the Roamer. You can bomb again from a multitude of different locations, like I stated before. Definitely be aggressive. You can spam to begin with, but you don't want to spam like 8 rockets or whatever. Maybe spam like 3 or 4, and if there's any good damage, then you go on that damage. As a medic, you roll out through cheese normally, right? The safest area is to be kind of in this sort of area right here, behind the tower as cover. It's harder for you to get spammed out this way, because if you're up here, it's very, very easy to take the same spam that your demo and the rest of your combo is taking. And it's just easier for them to just hit you, generally speaking, right? If you're back here, it's a lot harder for them to hit you. The other thing I like is that if you see soldiers bombing, you have a different ways you can kite out, right? You can kite out choke, you can kite out over there to frog, you can maybe even loop back and get into cheese. Because if you played here, then your only real option is cheese, and you can kind of get locked in here if the soldier doesn't die immediately, and it's just kind of a rough situation, right? So this just gives you a lot more freedom. You also have a mini pack right next to you if you needed it. So definitely recommend that this kind of area right here. And then your demo, after rolling out through cheese, just plays in this general area on the platform here, shooting a couple stickies on the demo. He's probably going to be over there, like coming out of rollout, or sorry, coming out of cheese. As a demo, it's very good to shoot the tower, right? If there's a scout over there, if there's a soldier over there, shooting those guys and getting them weak and getting them tagged is really, really good, right? Because they need to run back for heals. And especially if it's a soldier, that means their bomb is just going to be way less effective. You know where they are, you do damage to them, and then that means you're just going to be less healthy when they bomb you, which is just always good, right? Especially if they don't have a buff, right? That's even better. Okay. So yeah, that's basically mid. Like I said, you just want to almost like a 3-2-1 go type thing. As your soldiers bomb, your scouts and your demo try and get across, get aggressive. Your soldiers land on high ground, and you kind of just pinch them in one of these 2 corners. Okay. So pushing from mid to second is a little rough. Let's say it's even Ubers, right? Let's say it's just a 6-on-6 even Uber scenario. The idea for the defensive team is to play on the point here. You'll have a scout somewhere near this fence, maybe even on this fence, kind of just peeking and prodding and being ready to deny whoever comes through. There's probably a scout or a soldier over here. It could even be the pocket scout if you wanted, if you don't want like 2 different people over here. You could just have one person, like the pocket scout, kind of just watch both these doors. But you want to have someone watching frog just passively. You don't have to be super aggressive, like going over here and trying to peek and prod like this. Number one, there's generally speaking going to be a player or 2 over here. If they call that someone's close, then they might double team you and try and push you aggressively, especially with the pack advantage. So playing it passive is just a lot safer. If you need to get the pack, just get the pack and run back out. Don't like dilly-dally. And then your demo and your medic just kind of play on point. Your medic can play as back as over here, or over here is pretty good. Or if you just want to be a standard, just behind the fence is really good, right? No real line of sight for snipers apart from cheese, but like your flank or your pocket, depending on how you play this map, is going to be watching this pretty thoroughly. Like you'll have a soldier on, say, their shack right here, just making sure nobody comes through. And if they do, call them out and make sure you fight these guys that are coming through. So yeah, generally speaking, that's how it goes. As a soldier, you can sack through choke, go on one of the walls and then go into their team. You can do a 2-man push it through frog. By the way, it's called frog because there's a frog right there. Fun fact. You can do a 2-man, so like have your scout, your soldier bomb through first, like a bomb like this onto the whoever's holding this. And if they're a little bit too aggressive, you can easily 1v2 this guy and live with their, with your numbers. It's gonna reset. You could also bomb through cheese. It's a lot harder to do. You're gonna have to bomb off one of these walls up here, and then get in that way. If the soldier like isn't super closely watching, or the scout or whoever's watching this area isn't super closely watching, then it's actually a pretty good idea to get through that door, just because there's a lot of ground that you can take as a team, and then also it makes your soldier's job a little bit easier to kind of get in and bomb. So that's basically the idea of that. Let's see. Generally speaking, choke and cheese are your quote unquote safest options. In cheese, be wary of some sticky traps, like you can sticky one of the corners or both the corners, sticky the side of the barrel, though generally you do see it, so, but still, sometimes you're just looking at like whoever's fighting this, and you don't look over here. So just be careful of that. Apart from that, demos don't usually hold this area. They usually hold choke. Kind of like process, right? You kind of hold choke as a demo on process. So yeah, pushing through cheese is pretty good. You want to bully whoever's here out, and then you can take this ground and then try and fight this way. You could go have somebody go behind, same thing as what's that map called? God, what is it? Gully Wash. Right, when you're fighting second, you can maybe have someone get into lobby and go behind that way and try and do a flank play. That's kind of the idea here, right? You want to have somebody go behind. Well, you don't want to, but it's a good idea to have somebody go behind to distract a player or two that's holding this to try and maybe fight you, or just like pay attention to you. And especially if you can get the pick, it's really good. So a play that, like a lot of higher level teams, especially like invite teams do, is like they bully choke really hard as a combo, and then have their roamer or whatever with their flank scout go into lobby. And then while that is happening, they continue the aggression, trying to really pound the combo at some point. And while this combo is distracted with your combo, you can get in through Valley and do a bomb this way right onto the medic, or from behind here and get the pack and go. You will meet resistance, but like it's better to just be or like fight one person rather than the whole combo, right? To try and get in for a bomb. But anyways, what else do I need to say for this? Mini pack and health pack, or ammo pack is over there. This is your forward spawns, your first forward spawns, right? So you roll out this way, and then you can go choke or whatever. Your second forward spawns, by the way, is right there. And then you just basically are on mid like that. It's nice. Okay, so I think that's basically second. There's a pack over here in this area. This is usually just called right side or valley is what people usually call it. This ammo pack right here. This is lobby. You have lower lobby, upper lobby, kind of the standard, call outs. Middle, medium-sized packs over here. Last is kind of a weird last. Number one, as you can see, is kind of massive, right? Like there's a lot of space to work with, and there's also a lot of height. Like you can go like really, really, really high. So one of the cool things about this map is that you could, if your demo and your team kind of wants to, it depends on your team, you could go for a demo sack. Demo sack is actually pretty good on this map. The reason being is, number one, the skybox is really high. Number two, there's a lot of ground to cover. So for maps lasts like this, having a demo sack in is pretty good. Number three, 90% of the time you're going to have a gun on this last, and I'll show you the spots in a second. And with the gun spots, they kind of deny the soldiers pretty hard. The thing about the demo is that you can go so fast and so high when you do a sack like that, or do a sack, is that like, and the gun is just not going to be able to see you that quickly or react to you that quickly. Plus, if you do a demo sack, right, it takes a long time for the enemy team to get onto second, right? There's a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of doors to like clear and get through. It's just really tough to push out of this last. So that's why demo sacking is actually like viable on this last. But anyways, let me right, so for last, the idea is your combo is either holding the left hand side over here or the right hand side over here. The default is usually the left hand side, but if this is not comfortable, sometimes teams just don't like this area over here, so you can move it over to that side. It's not that big of a deal. Your demo, generally speaking, watches top left. One of your soldiers probably will be sitting up here and watches lower. Your other soldier will be sitting on this height right here and will be watching the right hand side, the valley side. This one right here. This one? I don't know, actually. Let's take a look. Nope. Yeah, that makes sense. There is an edge bug somewhere. I think it's up here. I can't remember. I'm not very good with edge bugs. I can't remember good spots or whatever, but I'm pretty sure there's an edge bug either up there or like it might be up there. It's somewhere. Above under, like up here. Yeah, it might be actually. I think you're right. It's somewhere in this area. I'm not actually I don't quite remember, but so if you wanted to, you could do an edge bug. Edge bugging while holding less, I don't know how useful that is. I guess there could be a theoretical use for it, especially like if they're pushing less, right? But if it's just like a 6v6 uber hold, then it's kind of pointless, right? But in any case, generally speaking, yeah, true. I mean, hey, if you get the medic, you get the medic, right? But yeah, your other soldier holds the right hand side, and then your scouts are either both going to be off classing, or you're going to have one off class and one scout. If it's just the off class, then it's probably going to be a gun. It might be a sniper. But generally speaking, gun is extremely powerful on this map. I highly recommend, if you have time to build a gun, please build a gun. It is very good. And then your pocket scout can kind of hold.
Where are the gun spots?
Yeah, I'll show you. So there are kind of a lot of gun spots. One of the default ones is over here behind this fence. This deters anybody that comes through lower, comes through the window, or comes through left. It doesn't watch right, but in that case, you hold 2 soldiers on the right so that they don't get through. And then your combo kind of holds top left with your scout and your demo, and you kind of just get rid of that area too. And it's kind of impossible for teams to come through lower, especially if you have soldiers on the high ground. So you're kind of clear there. So this is a pretty good spot. It's really hard to spam, as you can see. You can technically look through window, but if your demo is holding pretty aggressively, and if you have a soldier up here, it's going to be hard for them to kind of peek this window here. But you just got to make sure your combo and your demo specifically has the top left on lock. Another one is in this corner right here. The only spot that is realistically spammable is over on the right-hand side, right? And again, if you have a soldier or two on the right-hand side and they're making sure that nobody gets through, then this gun is pretty powerful. It denies pretty much anybody that coming over here. It doesn't deny top left. But theoretically, again, your demo and your scout are going to be holding this area really closely, so theoretically nobody should be able to come through here, right? So yeah, this is a really good spot. And then finally, if you want a more passive spot, you can go back here, like somewhere in this region right here. It doesn't theoretically watch anything but point, but like it'll deny any sort of soldier bomb, because again, when you bomb as a soldier on this loss, you're gonna go high, and you're just gonna go right into the gun, especially if the medic is like standing right next to the gun and not walking into any sight lines. Like it's kind of hard for a soldier, just a single soldier, to like get this medic force. So that's also why demo sacks are pretty good, because you could go super high and you can rain stickies on them and potentially get the gun that way, or even get the metaforce that way. So it's pretty good that way. So yeah, those are like the 3 main spots. I have seen guns on the left-hand side, like I think it's like right here. This is pretty good too. It is a little bit more easier to spam than say this one, right? Because you just have a little bit more leeway. You could also put it back here, but again, kind of the same thing. There's a little bit more leeway, just a little bit more angles to deal with. But yeah, for now, that one, and this one are your three main spots that you should look for. And all three, like I said, have their benefits and stuff like that. Sniper is pretty okay on this last. It's not amazing, but it's not bad, especially if you have a sniper on this right-hand side watching Valley. It's pretty tough for their team to really try and push you, especially if you have a competent sniper. Because if you delete this avenue, it's really, really hard for their team to even, like, try and pressure last. Like, the only real way is for them to bully your demo out this way, which is possible, but it's harder to do, right? Because this is a very demo, like, this doorway is, like, demo heaven, right? It's a smallish door. Oh, my game just crashed, I think. Oh, no, it just lagged. Yeah, I don't know why my game keeps doing that. It's really weird. But anyways, yeah, true. Um, yeah, so that's last. Let's see. Is there anything I missed? Pushing into last, kind of depends on a couple things. Number one, where's their combo? Number two, where's their gun? Right? If they have a gun and their combo are on the left-hand side, for instance, right? If you want to go for an Uber, you want to Uber closest to that doorway, right? Where their team is. So you want to pop through the right-hand side. You could pop through lower too. It's not a bad idea, especially because the thing about lower is that, like, it's a little blind, quote unquote, right? Like, people don't see you until the soldier sees you, and it might be too late because you'll be, like, here by the time you pop. Especially if, yeah, it's a pretty good spot. The only problem is that you're also blind to that. Like, both teams are kind of blind in that scenario, right? Um, exactly, right. So you want to have a scout probably, like, peek like this. You can maybe have a soldier or a scout if they're not getting bullied hard enough by these soldiers, then you can peek like this to see where people are. So it's pretty good that way. Quick tip, you can see the shadow of the gun underneath here. So if you don't see the gun, if you see a shadow there, you'll know that's where the gun is. You could also hear it, obviously, but just in case. But yeah. Lower is pretty good. Like I said, make sure you spot where the things are. If their combo is on the right-hand side, having your combo the left-hand side, then having your combo come through one of these two doors is good. If their combo is on the right-hand side, then having your team come through this side or through lower, like I said before, is good. The idea for this last is the same idea as Metalworks. I don't remember if I went over Metalworks with you guys, but the idea is to Uber in and, like, bully them into spawn, but then rotate over to catch them rotating out of spawn, if that makes sense. So say you pop through right? Their combos on the right-hand side, their medic runs into spawn like this, right? Your demo, initially puts a sticky or two and tries to bully them in, and then you guys immediately rotate over to the left-hand side to catch the rotates, right? Exactly, like Sunshine as well. A lot of maps you could do it, like Snake Water, you could do it on their last and stuff like that. Any map with like only two shutters or whatever is pretty good. Right. As that happens, though, you want to have your flank, like your roamer and your flank scout, assuming your flank scout is capping like this, to make sure they hold the door that you've left open now, right? Because it would be kind of pointless if you guys came over here, denied the rotate, but then they let them come through the original door they left from, right? Now, granted, like, it's not the end of the world because theoretically that takes a lot of time, right, to rotate that way and then rotate back and come block point. But, like, to deter, like, and if they were fast thinking or if somebody just came through this doorway to begin with just to deny that area, it's really good. So yeah, the idea is to bully them into spawn and keep them in spawn while you guys cap and kind of GG. Having a soldier playing up here is kind of painful. It's just, like, huge damage. It's hard for people to really hit you. Playing on this is really good as a scout. Like, it's impossible for soldiers to really hit you unless you get directed, which can happen, but it's hard to do. And then just playing on this, any sort of height, playing on the rock is really good. Same reason why it's hard for the people to hit you. It's easy for you to hit them and you're on height. So yeah. What back area? Oh, up here? Yeah. You can just jump right up. You didn't used to be able to do this, but they changed it so that you can. Oh. Yeah, you got to be on the point because the point is slightly elevated. So yeah, you got to do a crouch jump, and you can easily jump up. Yeah, heavy's up here is pretty good. Heavy on this last is decent. There's a lot of good cover, right? You can hide behind this. You can hide behind, this whole thing right here. Technically, you could hide behind the rock. It's not that great cover, but it is an idea. But so yeah, heavy on this last is pretty good too. But engineer, I think, is more important. Like once the gun dies, you can switch to heavy type thing, But yeah, so that's basically the last. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. God spot on second. There's a couple. Which one are you talking about? The one next to Shutter. Oh, this one up here. Like up there, I think it is. Yeah, I think there's an edge bug up here somewhere. I can't remember where it is, but it's somewhere. Yeah, it's a really
No,
soldier question. I think it's up there.
it's on the isn't it on the diagonal walls? Like
Like over here?
no, like on the diagonal wall, like right
Oh,
above Shutter.
this one? It might be actually. Yeah, I don't know. It might be. It probably is actually. You're probably right. There is another one though. I forget where it is. Yeah, I can't remember where it is. There's another one. I think it's up here actually. Or there used to be a bug up here. I don't know if they fixed it in the BA version, but there was a spot on this wall specifically where you could kind of hide above and rain hell on people, which is nice. But yeah, that's basically Sultry. You basically play it like a mixture of like Metalworks and like Snakewater Gully type thing. It's a mixture of a couple different maps. Honestly, personally, I'm not a fan of this map at all. At least as demo, it's fun as Soldier and Scout, but I hate this fucking map as demo. See, yeah, it's the opposite. I like mid. I fucking hate last. It's so annoying to push into and just not fun to like push out of. I don't know, but there's a lot of things you could do on this last, so it makes it pretty nice for like, you know, for yeah, I do like this whole map as a scout actually, and I don't mind it as a soldier. I don't like it as a demo, but yeah, it's just like there's so much ground to cover all the time, and there's like, yeah. But generally speaking, you like smaller, like more condensed maps on demo because you could just do more damage that way. Gully, snake process, or not process, snake sunshine a little bit comes to mind. Yeah. This map is just huge, is the thing. I think this map might be a little too big, but who knows. But yeah, any questions from YouTube? Cool. But yeah,
Why
what's up?
was this last season the first time it's been played on the lower deeps?
No, they played it a couple seasons ago. I don't think it's been in the rotation for a couple of seasons, but it's definitely it's been in the rotation for a little bit now. Yeah, at least like 3 seasons, 4 seasons, I want to say, something like that. It's been a good while. It's still it's definitely the newest map or one of the newest maps. Yeah, it is a rotate map. Yeah, I know.
Really?
Clear Cut is also in this season. So that's cool. Yeah. Clear Cut is not. I don't know if you want me to go over it, but Clear Cut is. Yeah, I kind of want to remember what it even looks like because
It's
I haven't
no,
played
it's
Clear Cut.
it's the map with the bunker. That's the meta. No.
Yeah, my game did crash. It was bound to happen one time. Yeah, I like Koth maps in general. I don't think there's a bad Koth map in this game, so I fucking love products. But I'm also an old school person. It is a demo map, that is true. But I love it as
Why is there
soldier and
only
scout. So
3 Goth maps on like
so
6
why are there only 3 Koth maps?
or
Because
more?
generally speaking, Koth is if you
Basically.
just it's one of those game modes that like it's not super fun to play all the time.